What to expect from orientation and mobility training. That's today's topic. Let's get into it.
Reach for the stars, 'cause we're aiming high.
Hey everyone, it's Matt. Welcome back to another Blind to Billionaire video. And I'm hanging out here with my cane right now. We're having a great conversation and, well, I guess Corey's here too.
Hi guys.
So anyway, today's topic is what to expect from orientation and mobility training. We figured this would be a really important video to put together, just putting together just a short list of different ideas that we've come up with on what you can expect if you were going to pursue orientation and mobility training because, well, let's be honest. I mean, if you haven't gone through it, you probably should. I mean, it's an amazing experience for sure, and we want to hopefully have this list here to hopefully maybe encourage some of you to go through with the training and maybe answer any, questions or hesitations that you may have. So Corey has a little list. We'll go through it and we'll go from there.
Okay.
I'm going to move my cane.
Great. Okay. Thing number one, you will be safe.
That's right. Yeah. So when you're navigating around with your O&M instructor, just recognize, even though you might be in a situation where you feel like, I have no idea where I am, I can't see where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, just always know that your O&M instructor will be there and they'll keep you safe. So they're not going to walk you into a hole or out in the middle of a street or something like that. They're just not going to do that.
Which leads us to our second point. Another thing you can expect is that you can build rapport and you can trust your own instructor. So if you don't feel that way with your instructor, I believe everywhere, and if you don't, just quit.
Yeah.
If you don't feel safe with your instructor, if you don't feel like you have a good relationship, you can change people. They're not the only person in the world. You need to be with somebody who's right for you.
That's a really important point to remember also, is if you start training and you don't like your instructor, you have every right to change, fire that person. So just find someone else. You can definitely do that. I've heard from a few people on this channel some not so good stories with their O&M instructors, and you just have to fire that person and get someone else. So if you don't click with that person and you feel like they're not looking out for your best interest, just find somebody else. So that's something you can absolutely do.
And one thing that Matt had the opportunity to do, and I'm not sure if this is where it is, the way it is everywhere. I know we live in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, so we are in a good location, honestly, I think. But Matt had got the chance to interview 5 different people on the phone before he picked his instructor, and that helped him find a good person right off the bat. He knew certain people wouldn't work for him.
Yeah, exactly. My instructor, I really like him. I feel like we work very well together. I feel like he is tough on me, but actually he's not tough on me anymore. In the beginning, I felt like he was really tough on me, and that's not a bad thing. I think that was good because he kind of forced me to grow really fast. So even though at the time I was feeling dude, give me a break a little bit, but looking back on that, I'm really glad that he just kept pushing the way that he did because I felt like I grew so fast in the first 6 to 8 sessions. But yeah, if you have the opportunity and you have a list of different instructors, I would highly recommend that you call and just do a phone interview. Ask a bunch of different questions. Basically ask everybody the same questions and just determine which one fits your personality and your style and what you're looking for out of your training. When I did this, I interviewed, like Corey said, I had a list of 5 people. I think I connected with 4 of them. There was the 5th one I'd never got in touch with, but it was very obvious to me. Out of the 4 I talked to, there was one that stood out really well, and the other 3 were just no, I'm good. So the one guy, it was a clear answer to me who I wanted to work with, and that's the guy I'm still working with. I really like him.
And that sort of brings us to our next one. You will be out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, just recognize, going through this training, you will certainly be out of your comfort zone for an extended period of time, for however long that is. For everybody, it's going to be different. But the other thing too is, I talk about this in some of my videos as well, is the more that you can step out of your comfort zone, the more your comfort zone eventually will expand, because you'll step out, you'll be uncomfortable, and as you continue to spend more time outside of your comfort zone, well, eventually you'll get more comfortable and confident, and as a result, your new comfort zone will expand out to basically this new reality. So ultimately, it's a really good thing. but just recognize you will be uncomfortable for, a little while.
And then the next thing that will happen is you will have an increase in confidence.
That's right. Yeah, a huge increase in confidence. Again, it's probably not going to happen right away, but it's different for everybody. For me, it took, I would say like session 5 or 6 was like the pivotal day for me where things really changed from basically like I'm going to quit next time or like I'm never going back to all of a sudden there was one pivotal day where everything changed. I mean, literally, it did a 180 turn and everything changed one day, and it's been really good ever since.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was expecting a text from Matt saying I quit my O&M training or I didn't go today.
I was so close.
And instead I got this text that was like, this is like the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
I'm like, feel so good. I'm so proud. I'm so comfortable. And I mean, we really, literally, when I left for work that day, I just assumed he was going to cancel his session.
I almost did.
I mean, I really thought he was going to, which I think we didn't have this written on the list, but I think that one of the things you can expect from O&M training possibly is that you may want to give up, but that if you stick with it, it is so worth it.
It's so worth it, yeah.
But you may feel, I mean, I think probably most people who go through it sort of want to quit.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's just like everything. It's always tough in the beginning. Just like anything. I mean, literally, think of anything that you've tried in your life. I mean, it's tough. No matter what it is, it's tough for some like period of time, whether it's an hour, whether it's a week, whether it's a month. It doesn't really matter. Whatever it is, it's tough for some period of time. But my biggest recommendation would be just stick with it. Even though it's really tough and you might want to give up, just continue to pursue and eventually it will get better. I promise you, it will get better.
Because, next point, you will learn a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah. I can't even believe how much I learned in the first, like I said, I mean, I'm still learning something every session. I still learn something. It's like, I never even knew that was a possibility. But yeah, I mean, we're still learning so much. But I would say the first like 10 sessions or so, I learned just like every day. It was just like tons and tons of material in a good way. It was really good. A lot of really good information.
Mm-hmm. The first thing you learned, one of the first things, was next point, how to properly and safely navigate with your cane.
Yeah. So one of the first things that we learned was proper sighted guide technique. Now I know some people don't believe that it's called sighted guide, but that's what I call it. So that's what it is.
Well, that's what his instructor called it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to call it. So, but proper sighted guide, that's what we did the first session. But yeah, otherwise the first couple sessions were basically just like what to do, like how do you use a white cane, like a couple of different techniques like constant contact, maybe like the 2-touch method. Otherwise, just like how do you properly use a cane for navigation, and then what do you do in some situations. So I would say that was probably the first like 3 sessions when we were out in the field training, was just me like trailing walls, crossing doorways, just using the different swiping techniques of the cane, how to hold it, hand placement, just a lot of different like ergonomic techniques.
Well, and I just want to point out too, kind of listening to Matt describe this and what to expect, I think one of the first couple of sessions, he sort of felt like he was, I'm going to use the word faking it, like he would think like, okay, I'm using this technique, but like, I don't really think I'm doing it right, or I feel like I'm like faking it, like use that word quite a bit. So you'll learn stuff, and depending on how it goes, you'll feel really confident, but at the beginning, you might kind of feel like you're just kind of like pretending to be a blind person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you felt like.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was hard, but then it does come together if you just give it time, which kind of brings us to our next point, that you can ask questions. I think, Matt, when you started asking more questions and like being more kind of specific about your questions, I think that helped. And also, I didn't write this down, but asking your instructor to slow it down or to go over something again, or say, hey, like, I really need to just like relearn what we did yesterday so that I like feel more confident.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of
about that?
There's a lot of really good points that Corey just hit on. So yeah, just remember, this training is for you. So you can ask the instructor anything. I mean, this training's for you. It's not for the instructor. They're there to teach all the skills to you for you to become proficient at some point, right? So ask all the questions you want. I mean, this is the time that you have with your instructor to ask all the questions, learn everything that you want to. So don't feel bad about asking questions, but I mean, just do whatever it takes for you. So yeah, and like Corey was saying, when I was asking more questions, like at times I would feel like we were progressing so quickly, I wasn't even getting close to mastery of the previous skills from the previous day. So it's like we would do a skill, let's say Monday, and then Tuesday we would advance. Wednesday we'd advance even more, and I'm thinking like, how can I possibly advance again on Thursday because I haven't even become close to even mastering at all the skills we learned on Monday. So yeah, just realize like if you just keep going with it, continue to ask questions, keep practicing, and eventually it'll all come together, even though it doesn't really feel like it's going to initially.
Mm-hmm. But I think that kind of ties together everything, and that you want to build a rapport with your instructor so that you can ask questions and can say how you're feeling. And sometimes I do think that there's a kind of a rock. I know we're not supposed to make this super negative, but I do think sometimes you almost have to hit like a rock bottom with like, oh my gosh, this is tough. Like, you just got to dive in. Do you think that's true?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you almost do have to
Somewhat.
sort of hit rock bottom.
But another thing too is this is different for everybody. Just because this was my experience, don't look at this and be like, oh gosh, O&M sounds really bad, I don't want to do it.
Because it's not.
It's really not. Like, I've psyched myself out so much because it took me years to do this. It really did. Like, we've been talking about it for literally a couple years that I should go through with this training, and it's just like, oh no, I'm good. Make every excuse in the world. You know how that is. It's just, it's easy to make excuses and not do it. So I was doing that, and I really just kind of talked myself out of this training for so many years. I think that was half the reason why I didn't do it, is just I kind of had this mental block from this training, and I think it was all self-inflicted to some point.
I do too, and I think another thing, just to really quick say it, so Matt was an adult when he took the training, and as I was like watching Matt go through the training, one of the things I thought is, I as an adult, since I've been young, I haven't learned as much as Matt's learning right now. I haven't been in a situation, like adults don't really learn new things the way that Matt learned things during orientation and mobility training. Mm-hmm. It is so foreign and so outside of your comfort zone to learn a completely new way to travel. There's emotional components. It's psychologically really challenging. Not challenging, but just like a new way to do things. And so I think that kind of combination of all the things like Matt had to learn, it was just like, wow, like this is a lot to learn as an adult, but you did it, which brings us to our last point, that you will expand your independence.
Yeah, one more thing about what Corey was just talking about, just to clarify, like I'm still going through training. I'm not done with it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm still actively taking sessions and everything like that. So I'm not done with it. But I've had, I don't even know how many sessions I've had now, but
But I think the first couple ones are really the ones where you gotta just like keep
pushing
going.
Through. You just really need to keep pushing through.
But yeah, you will expand your independence. Like Matt,
definitely huge.
Talk about the mailbox thing.
Yeah, a huge expansion of independence. Before I started the training just a couple months ago, like I've only been doing this a couple months. Before that, I literally, well, first of all, I didn't want to be seen with the cane. That was number one. So even me just having the thought of like walking outside with a cane was like, no, I'm not doing that. So that's another thing is I'm totally confident walking around with a cane now. Not a big deal. I don't really care about that. And prior to the training starting, I didn't want to even like do anything. Like I was afraid to walk to the end of our driveway to pick up like our garbage dumpster bin things. And there was no way I would even think about walking to the mailbox. So now after just a little bit of training, not that much, I mean, I'm walking in the mailbox all the time. It's supposed to be nice out the next couple of days, the weather. I'm actually probably going to grab my cane and just go for a little walk. There's no reason not to. I'll have my phone with me as a backup, as I always do. In the event I get turned around or lost, I can either call Corey or I can look on Google Maps where I am, or I can even use like Be My Eyes, something like that. But my point is, I always have a backup with me just in case, but like my confidence has increased so much, and as a result, I don't have really any fears of just walking around the house anymore because I have the skills I can lean back on and just be like, okay, think of the skills and the training that I've had so far and implement it. And then I'm good, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's in the heat of the moment, it's easy to panic and be like, oh my gosh, I'm lost. I don't know where I am. And it's just like, no, stop. Where am I? Where was the last point that I remember being? So that would, based on that I can deduct that I'm probably in this location. Now just implement the skills that I've learned, and I can just continue on my way and find my way back.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I would say, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, in a couple of months prior to this recording, there's no way I would even think about doing any of that. I'd walk out to the driveway and panic and be like, oh, where's the garage door?
Mm-hmm. And I think kind of like I was just going to mention with that too, like Matt used to get like frustrated and more like angry. Like it was so crazy. Like, if you get like lost or confused or turned around, I think your initial response when you're feeling panicked is to feel kind of like frustrated and angry and kind of embarrassed.
Yeah.
But it was so interesting. After he started his training, he went to the mailbox one night. He said I should stay home. And he was gone a little bit longer than expected. He called me and he said, hey, I'm kind of turned around. Like, can you just come out and like help me? And he was so calm and so not bothered, because I was expecting him to be frustrated like before, but because he had so many more tools in his toolbox, it was just, I thought that was really cool and worth mentioning. Because I liked that. Like, it was neat.
As it turns out, I was actually on our street. It's just, the problem is I got turned around a little bit and I didn't know which direction I was facing. So it's like where am I? I don't know where I was. And there's no traffic where we are to like give me an idea of where the main roads are. So I was just turned around. Basically, I was like at the end of our street, but I was facing the wrong direction. Like I didn't know which way to go. So that's where I could have whipped out my phone and looked at my like GPS and said, okay, I should be facing this way. But that was really early on in my training, and I didn't know how to use the compass quite yet.
Exactly. And so now you have even more skills.
Now I have more skills.
And I just think it's cool, and I think that you guys will find that you're surprised at the skills you've gained. And also, really quick, I know we're running a little like long, but one of the things too that I thought was cool is like when Matt and I would go walk around together before he did the cane training, we'd always be like, how do blind people know how to do this? Like, how do blind people figure this out? Mm-hmm. And I am shocked how many times it's like, Matt knows how to do that now. Like, who would have known? Like, we didn't even know how to, like, ask questions about, like, how do you, like, know this stuff? Like,
yeah.
I mean, don't you think that's cool?
Yeah. One other thing that I want to add, this wasn't on the list, but I just thought of it. When you're going through your training, expect to have really great connections with people. I never expected that would be part of this training, right? So like when we were at the mall in the first, few sessions that we were doing the training, we were at the mall right away, and I never thought like, oh, I'd have great connections. But as I was navigating around the mall, it's like, I can't tell you how many people would approach me and be like, can I help you out? Like, can I tell you where you are? Can I walk with you? I actually had one woman walk with me for like a really long distance, and she was just hanging out with me, and I was like, trust me, I don't need help. And she's like, no, I just want to walk with you.
It was just nice. Like,
it's really nice.
It was really cool.
So just expect, people will approach you, and it's just really cool. I've never had so many like really neat connections with people that really truly want to help.
Yeah.
That was a really fun bonus to the training.
I think that's really a
at the mall
point.
Anyway.
I think that's really cool. I also think you've learned some random tips too.
Yeah.
Like just random like
like what?
Like one of the things that you've learned is just like how to find things. We made a video about that a little while ago, like
searching techniques.
Like searching techniques. Like didn't know that was kind of like an added bonus. Like didn't know that would be part of cane training.
Yeah.
So that's just like an example. So if you feel like you're with your instructor and you're like, how do I do this thing? Or like I'm having trouble with this like random thing, maybe they can just like walk you through it.
Yeah.
Because they're a wealth of knowledge.
Truly.
I mean, our guy, Matt's guy, has like dedicated his life to like learning how to be blind.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Very interesting. He's very good.
I mean,
he has
really
an answer
amazing.
for every question. He has like a very long, really good answer. He really does.
It's really, really remarkable. Like the amount of time this person spent, and I think there's a ton of people out there like that. So that's
exactly.
cool.
What do you think? Is that?
I think we need to wrap this guy up.
But hey, so I'm gonna get into today's shout out and then one little thing at the end of that. But hey, today's shout out is going to Marinka. So hey, congratulations! Thanks so much for being such a great friend here. She actually requested a video topic, and we're actually gonna put that one on hold for a minute. But I still wanted to give you the shout out. So thanks, Marinka. I really appreciate you being here. But anyway, to end this video out, I just want to say, like, if you guys have any questions regarding O&M, if you are feeling, I don't know, a little bit hesitant about starting the training, or you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll share my experience with you. I mean, I basically already have in videos and this one. But if you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to me. Like, leave a comment down below and we can talk as much as you want and I'll answer anything you have. So, like, don't hesitate. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to me.
I don't think anyone was more resistant or, like, uninterested in O&M training than Matt.
No, me.
I genuinely believe that.
Yep.
There is no one else who needed it more, who is least interested. And Matt is now like an advocate.
Yeah.
Which I knew he would be. It's awesome.
I didn't really... Yeah, I'm a believer now. That's all we have to say.
He's a believer.
I'm a believer.
Justin Bieber, if you're watching this, shout out to the Biebs. There's no way Justin's still watching.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get in trouble now for making the video too long.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching this.
Have a nice day.
Yep. Well, hey, we'll have some O&M videos next week, actually.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. All right. See you later.
Bye.
You can't wait to see me now, 'cause lately